After waiting for what's felt like forever, Tribute Games' Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge has finally been released. I feel so dumb saying the full title, like just call it Ninja Turtles. As much as this is a continuation of the retro titles for both the arcades and home consoles, I have absolutely no nostalgia for that era of Ninja Turtles games. So I'll be looking at Shredder's Revenge more so as a fan of Tribute Games' previous work at Ubisoft on both Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and TMNT for the Game Boy Advance. Like those games, there's amazing pixel art and sprite work. Everything feels alive. The environments are bright, expressive, and feel lived in. Plus, there's tons of visual gags that actually got a chuckle out of me. Even though I tend to gravitate towards more modern interpretations of the Turtles, Shredder's Revenge manages to feel like the peak interpretation of these characters. I also can't help but notice the amount of work that went into April's sprite. Anyways, the gameplay diverges from what I typically expect from this team, and I'm kind of glad. As much as I like them both, TMNT and especially Scott Pilgrim played a lot more like River City Ransom. It also had a level up system, but that only gave you more moves. Your stats could only be upgraded through power-ups that you could buy with money from enemies. In practice, it feels much more like a numbers game, even more so than any RPG that you could fucking find out there, and while it's fun in practice, it's not for everyone. However, Shredder's Revenge is much more akin to contemporary beat-em-ups. You beat up the Foot Clan to get points, points allow you to level up, which allows you to get better health, additional ninja power gauges, or more moves, depending on which level you're on. If you're not a fan of the whole level up system, the overworld, or even the collectibles, there's also an arcade mode that's just like the SNES games. There's even limited continues for you masochists out there, offering even more of a challenge. Tribute has offered a surprising variety of ways to play through a 2-hour story, and that's if you're not rushing. There's not too much to unlock, but between the 3 difficulties, arcade mode, and co-op, there's more than enough to keep you coming back once you've completed the campaign. The boss fights are a ton of fun. They all have very clear patterns that are easy to read, but the game still keeps you on your toes by steadily increasing the difficulty. It manages to test your wits while not having any obnoxious difficulty spikes that makes the game completely unfun. Side note, if for some reason your favorite Turtles movie is Secret of the Ooze, there's some surprises in this game, more than I expected, to be honest. The soundtrack is also phenomenal. I'm running out of words. Slap that shit on the back of the box. This game is so good, I need a thesaurus to describe it. I can't imagine even trying to follow up Turtles in Time in any way, but T-Lope's soundtrack does the job. And I can say that because I listened to both back and forth as I wrote this entire script. Fuck you. His instrumental tracks sound reminiscent of the older games while also adding his own flair. And once I think about it, it makes a lot of sense that this is the guy who also did Sonic Mania soundtrack. But Shredder's Revenge goes one step beyond with the lyrical tracks. During specific missions, there's brand new songs with Raekwon, Ghostface Killah, Anton Corazza, and Johnny Atma. Frankly, I was afraid that the track with the Wu-Tang members would feel out of place, but when it kicks in during that Shredder boss fight, that's when you realize there couldn't have ever been a better music choice. All of them are great, but obviously We Ain't Came to Lose is top 5. I have to say, I love this weird meta that melds Ninja Turtles and rap that's been going on since like the first movie. There's so fucking many of these songs that I can't even keep up with them. In terms of negatives, I can't really think of too much. I guess some of the levels towards the latter half of the game feel like they drag a bit. Some of the enemy types were a bit of a pain in the ass, specifically those who have swords. But man, scraping at the bottom of the barrel doesn't even begin to describe those negatives, if that's what you really want to call them. The Turtles franchise doesn't have the best track record with keeping its games available for purchase, so let's just all hope and pray that Shredder's Revenge doesn't meet the same fate. That's less of a con and more of a, dear God, don't let this happen, this game is too good to be lost to time. See what I did there? Time. Turtles. Shredder's Revenge has been one of my most anticipated games since the announcement trailer released last year, and now that it's here, in my lap, metaphorically because I played it on Game Pass, I'm still surprised by how much I really like this game. After playing this, I can't wait for the Cowabunga collection releasing sometime. Eventually. Even if you're not nostalgic for games like Turtles in Time, if you didn't grow up watching the 80s Turtles cartoon, and even if you're not too well versed in the 2D beat-em-ups, I highly recommend Shredder's Revenge, especially since it's a day one Game Pass title, making that price of entry even lower. But you have to at least like Ninja Turtles. I mean, if you don't, it's a bit of a hard sell. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll catch you guys next time. Later, kids. Have a good night.
What do you got, kid?
4 turtles.
Nothing beats 4 turtles. And in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Battle Nexus, you can play them all. Rated E for everyone. From Konami.